Hey everybody, it's Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich here in the WCNC Weather Center. Let's talk about Sally because Sally's getting stronger tonight, about to make landfall, and everyone in the Carolinas obviously wants to know, is this going to impact us? Let's go right to the radar. We can show you the radar and satellite together. We actually have a pretty well-defined eye forming on both radar and infrared satellites. Not showing up as well here on this infrared shot, but some of the other infrared shots we are seeing that eye. And if you notice, it's really not moving. It looked like it was moving north, but now it's kind of moving off to the west a little bit. It's kind of maybe just stationary, moving in a generally northwest direction, maybe at about 5 to 6 miles per hour. Here's that beautiful infrared satellite imagery that shows the explosion of storms near the center. If there's an eye, it's somewhere in there. It's not showing up clear on this, but this really shows you how it's still developing convection, or thunderstorms we call it, near the center of the storm, and that's really what's causing the storm to intensify. So this was the 8 p.m. update. We'll get another update at 11 o'clock tonight. Winds were at 100 miles per hour, west-northwest at 5, so very slow-moving storm. It is not in a big hurry to move. Let's advance this slowly. Likely going to stay a Cat 2, possibly a Cat 3. The thing I'm watching for is to see if it's going to make this turn west that sharply. I think it's probably going to be closer to parts of Alabama, which means really everywhere east of New Orleans needs to pay attention, because if you're near the center or to the east, you're going to see the worst of the weather. Then it moves inland, moves incredibly slow, and then stalls somewhere over Georgia, maybe South Carolina on Friday afternoon. Well, even though the center of the old remnant's going to be down here, we're still going to see a ton of moisture move into the Carolinas, which I'll talk about here in a minute. Let me show you that rainfall forecast, because tomorrow you see that extreme threat for flash flooding all along the Gulf Coast. You don't see that very often for any kind of system. And then notice as it goes up in the Carolinas on Wednesday, we start to see that threat for flash flooding moving up in that region. That's an area we'll have to watch, because I think on Thursday this area will likely be expanded, and we're likely going to see probably a medium to high risk for flash flooding across the Carolinas. Now on the Gulf Coast, here's all the latest warnings. You can see how the warnings have been extended into the Florida Panhandle. Does include most of southeast Louisiana. The storm surge, though, one of the things about the storm surge, a strengthening storm at landfall and the shape of the coast here is not really good. If you look at the shape of the coast here and then Mobile Bay, remember, the storm's here. It's going like crazy. It's pushing water in here. That water keeps getting pushed in. It can't go anywhere. So it's just piling up, piling up, piling up. So the water's just getting stacked up, essentially. And then if we start throwing heavy rain in here as the storm is moving this way, the rain's trying to go out all the rivers here. Pearl River, all the rivers in southern Mississippi, as well as southern Alabama. Water's trying to come inland, so guess what? The water has nowhere to go but spread out on land, and that causes all kinds of flooding issues. So the inland threat for flooding is going to be huge as well, because let me show you what's happening in the Carolinas. We've got a front coming through here that's going to stall to the south. So here comes whatever's left of Sally. And again, it's probably not going to be anything but a remnant low, but the moisture is going to spread way out to the north and interact with this front and this old stalled front here, which is going to cause widespread rain across the Carolinas on Thursday, and I think even into early Friday until this front clears the area, probably sometime in the middle of Friday afternoon. So when you look at some of these rainfall totals, these are starting to really go up. You see the 15 to 20 down there, but watch that swath of heavy rain come up through Alabama, Georgia, upstate of South Carolina, and then into the Charlotte area possibly. Somewhere in here we're going to see a band of very heavy rain. It could shift up here. It also could shift down here based on the speed of the front and wherever the remnants of Sally go. So there's still some interaction there that we've got to figure out over time. And I'm going to go forward real quickly and just show you, I think I still have it in here, is to show you that the precipitable water, which is the amount of moisture coming up. So you see that moisture coming up. Look at all that deep moisture, and I put the track through 5 days. So this is going to stop right about there. So you see all this moisture down here. It's interacting with this front, but notice this front coming in from the northwest. If this dry air can get in first, it could keep the moisture to the south, but something else to think about, that's also going to cause what we call a wedge. So the warm air is going to try to rise up and over this cool air mass. So we could be in the 60s and 70s with pockets of moderate to heavy rain. And you can see how the moisture gets really close. It gets up to about Charlotte on Friday, and then boom, here comes the cold front, clears everything out, and it's beautiful. by the upcoming weekend. So let's look at the specific rainfall forecast real quickly here, just to show you the rainfall through 5 o'clock on Thursday. And you could see it's really painting the heavy rain in this area. Now, will this verify? I caution you when I show these, I don't want people to say, I'm going to get 3.80. That's not the way it works. What you're looking at is somewhere in here could get 1 to 4, maybe 5 inches of rain. That could easily shift north a little bit, but it also could shift to the south. This is just a general idea on where the heavy rain band could set up as we go into Thursday. But I will say as well, this is going to move out pretty quickly because the rainfall is really primarily Thursday into early Friday, but by the upcoming weekend, it looks amazing. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. The one thing I will caution you, be ready for heavy rain on Thursday for sure. The amount of rain on Friday is still a little questionable, but Thursday right now, I don't say this very often, looks like a complete washout, and flash flooding is very likely. We're going to see a flash flood watch for some parts of the area. Of course, I'll have an update on the track tonight at 11. Stay tuned for weather updates. Tomorrow's beautiful. Wednesday is fine, but big changes could happen on Thursday into Friday.